It's an honor to speak and ask a question in Canada's first virtual parliament.
Thank you very much, Chair. Can you hear me well?
Can you hear me okay?
We hear you fine, Mr. Johnson. You turned off, you're muted again. You were doing fine when you first started.
Okay, there
Perfect.
we go. Mr. Speaker.
But we took a moment and to reflect and to look at how we could best help people.
Mr. Speaker, we can't hear him if you're listening to English.
To look at Made in Canada solutions. We're also leveraging our
Point of order, Mr.
scientists.
Speaker. I can't hear the response.
The cacophonic sounds of a virtual parliament and virtual parliamentary committee hearings. Interpreters are saying that these government Zoom meetings have become a literal headache. Some of them are even losing their hearing. For those of you who have been working from home, right? You may be doing things via Zoom, right? You're having work meetings via Zoom. But you don't have a headset on and you're supposed to translate in real time certain feeds from that Zoom meeting. For those who work as interpreters for the government, translating these meetings have been quite a headache. Let's go to one of them. Nicole Gagnon is a parliamentary interpreter. Nicole, it's a real pleasure to have you on the show, and I am just in awe of the work you do on a daily basis. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for the invitation and for your kind words.
So tell us, Nicole, what does your job now entail due to the fact that so much of it is virtual?
Well, all of it is virtual, and all of it is of concern to us in terms of the quality of service that we're providing to Canadians. We live in a bilingual country. Both English and French are our official languages. Both are first languages, not first language, second language. They're equal in the eyes of the law. And we're concerned about the quality of service we're providing. I would think that most of your listeners are English-speaking in Quebec and that most of their representatives are French-speaking representatives in the House. And so it's really, really important, I would think, to your listeners that they can rely on the words that are being spoken in the House and that they be interpreted properly. And unfortunately, that's not the case right now.
And it's not the case because the quality of the feed that you have just isn't up to par?
Well, the situation is that we're working from a platform that is a video conferencing platform. It's not an interpretation platform. Now, we know there are better platforms out there, and in fact, we've commissioned an independent firm to test these platforms. And the platform that was retained by government actually came in last place. Out of the 9 platforms tested, it came in 9th place. And so we're not getting the quality of sound that we require as we listen to what is being said and interpret what is being said and talking on top of the speaker. We need both good volume and, most importantly, clear sound so that what is being said is intelligible to us.
Nicole, my jaw dropped when you said that, right? That there were 9 options on the table, and the government went with the one that is worst, the worst option for your line of work. Why do you think they made that decision then?
Well, I can't speak to why they made the decision. Perhaps it has to do with it being so commonplace. Maybe they felt it was user-friendly. But unfortunately, it's not made for interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Now, Nicole, the ramifications that I'm hearing are that, in order to sort of try and work with this technology that isn't good for the job you do, you're turning up your volume, your headset's on, and it's causing major health issues. Can you tell our listeners about that?
Yes, I could say a few words about that, definitely. What is happening is exactly as you've described. The staff interpreters have sustained injury. We had a survey done quite recently, and 70% of the respondents spoke to the fact that they had sustained injury since the platform has been in place. And because of that, the government has been calling on freelancers, such as myself, to come in as reinforcements. Unfortunately, we're working in the same conditions. We're exposed to the same toxic sound, as we call it, and in turn are sustaining injuries. And the concern is that it's not the proper response. If once we will have gone through the staff interpreters and the freelance interpreters, as our ranks are thinning, there is going to be a critical shortage, and we won't be able to meet parliamentary demand.
We're with Nicole Gagnon, parliamentary interpreter, talking about some of the issues that interpreters in Canada's parliament are going through now that everything is done via Zoom. So, Nicole, tell me about just what the health conditions you're seeing. Tell me about just exactly what you and others are going through health-wise.
Well, we're experiencing tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears, and everybody knows how annoying that can be. Mm-hmm. We're sustaining severe headaches, nausea, extreme fatigue, and so that is because we're being exposed to the platform. We don't know exactly what is happening, but we do know something is happening. Studies are underway to try and figure out what the issue is. But in the meantime, we should be applying a precautionary principle and reducing our hours of exposure.
And is the government listening to these concerns? Are they doing anything?
Well, the government is undertaking studies as well, but we certainly feel they shouldn't be putting us in harm's way. I have no doubt that the government, or actually the Translation Bureau, is under a great deal of pressure to meet the demand. But the answer isn't throwing more bodies at it. The answer is protecting the scarce resource that we are.
Yeah,
there are only about
problem.
80 independent interpreters qualified to work on the Hill in all of Canada. And if we burn through these people, there will be no one left to do parliamentary work. And interpretation is essential to Parliament because it cannot sit without its interpreters, given how we are a bilingual country. Something would be lost in terms of, this is what makes our country great, that we can actually speak in both official languages and be assured that what you hear in English or what you hear in French is being interpreted faithfully.
Nicole, you have a mellifluous voice, by the way, and I thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for listening to me.
That's Nicole Gagnon, parliamentary interpreter.